exactly, but I feel pretty close. I know what you mean. It's like, I just started thinking about, like, a whole new way of, wait, if I turn the wheel here when I get there, I have to use my left arm for this. Yeah. That, my super, boss. Oh, yeah. Tempo, 240. Wait.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Please join me as we sing Hine Matov U'Manayim. How wonderful it is to be together. Hine Matov U'Manayim, Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. 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 Hine Matov U'Manayim, I can't hear you. Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Matov U'Manayim, Shevet Achim Gam Yachad.
Shabbat Shalom.
Good Shabbos.
Good Shabbos, good evening. Welcome to Congregation Dor Tamid in our Friday evening Kabbalat Shabbat worship service. I'm Rabbi Jordan Ottenstein, accompanied tonight on the Bima by our cantorial soloist Mike Sussman. It is a wonderful sight to see so many people here in the sanctuary this evening. We are so glad you are all here joining us together in person as we welcome in this Shabbat, this day of rest. We also welcome everyone who is joining us from home, on Zoom, on Facebook, on YouTube, or our website, however you are joining us virtually. As the psalm we have just sung said, we have come together as a community, sitting together in person or virtually. And it is beautiful. It is lovely that we are able to be here together as we welcome in this Shabbat. And we come together tonight for a variety of reasons. Some of us are here tonight because we are saying Kaddish. We are remembering a loved one who is no longer with us, and we seek the comfort of community as we walk through the valley of the shadow. Others are here because we are saying a Misha Berach Lecholim, a healing prayer for a friend or a loved one, those in our immediate or broader circle. And we know that there is power in our prayer. Others of us are here because we are celebrating a Simcha this weekend, as tomorrow morning Bryce Dabowski will join Mike and I on the Bima and lead us in prayer and read from the Torah and then teach us from its sacred and ancient wisdom as we call him to the Torah as a bar mitzvah, the newest adult member of the Jewish people. And others of us are here tonight because it is an anniversary Shabbat. In two senses of the word, it is the Shabbat where we celebrate March anniversaries, but it is also the Shabbat where we will celebrate the 100th anniversary of Bat Mitzvah, of women being called to the Torah in this country. And finally, some of us are here because it's Shabbos. It's Friday night, and we gather together as the Jewish community on Friday night to celebrate this moment, this time signified by the lighting of candles, the sweetness of the wine that allows us to take that step back and rest and reflect and renew our souls. So to begin our service tonight, I'm going to ask everyone here in the sanctuary just to take a moment and make sure all cell phones and electronic devices are turned off or silenced. And as we bring light into creation, bring light into the world, entering into Shabbat, I'm going to ask Bryce to come to the Bima along with his parents, Brian and Michelle and his sister Isla, so that they can light our Sabbath lights. Page 120.
sing together. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
We turn now to page 125. Where has this week vanished? Is it lost forever? Will I ever recover anything from it? The joy of life, the unexpected victory, the realized hope, the task accomplished. Will I ever be able to banish the memory of pain, the sting of defeat, the heaviness of boredom? On this day, let me keep for a while what must drift away. On this day, let me be free of the burdens that must return. On this day, Shabbat, abide. Together, help me to withdraw for a while from the flight of time, contain the retreat of the hours and days from the grasp of frantic life. Let me learn to pause, if only for this day. Let me find peace on this day. Let me enter into the quiet world on this day. On this day, Shabbat, abide. We turn now in our prayer books to page 130 for our service of Kabbalat Shabbat, our service of welcoming the Sabbath.
Lechu niranena l'Adonai, nariya litzor yishenu, mikadma fana betoda, bizmirot nariya lo. Page 131. Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz, Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash, Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz, Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash. Sing unto God, all the earth, a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God, and we'll all sing along. All the earth, a new song unto God. Sing with me. Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz, Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash. Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz, Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash.
Page 133. Mizmor, Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash, ki niflaot asa hoshia lo yimino uzroa kodsho. A psalm. Sing to Adonai a new song, for God has worked wonders. God's right hand, God's holy arm has won God victory. Adonai has manifested God's victory, has displayed God's triumph in the sight of the nations. God was mindful of God's steadfast love and faithfulness toward the house of Israel. All the ends of the earth beheld the victory of our God. Hariu l'Adonai kol haaretz, pitzchu v'ranenu v'zameru. Raise a shout to Adonai, all the earth. Break into joyous songs of praise. Page 138. We welcome in the Sabbath bride with the singing of L'Chadodi. We will sing together verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And for the 9th and final verse, we will rise and face the door of the sanctuary, hoping to catch a glimpse of the Sabbath bride as she enters our presence.
Yalla la 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 L'Chadodi. Yalla la 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 likakala, yalla la 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 p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad Ishmianu el hamyuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad L'shemo tiferet v'litila Yalalai, yalalai, l'kadodi Yalalai, l'krakala Yalalai, b'nei Shabbat nekavela Likrat Shabbat lecho v'nelcha Ki hi mekor habracha Merosh mikedem nesucha Sof ma'aseh v'machshavat egila Yalalai, yalalai l'kadodi Yalalai l'krakala Yalalai b'nei Shabbat nekavela Itoreri Ki ba'ore Umi uri Shir daberi Kibod Adonai alayik nigla Yalalai, yalalai l'chadodi Yalalai l'krat kala Yalalai b'nei Shabbat nekavela Moi v'shalom Ateret bala Gam besimcha U'betzola Toch emunei Am segula Boi kala Yalalai, yalalai l'kadodi Yalalai l'krakala Yalalai b'nei Shabbat nekavela
Please be seated as we turn to page 145. Lamdeni Elohai barech v'hitpalel. Al sodalei kamel al noga pri vashel. Teach me, O God, a blessing, a prayer, on the mystery of a withered leaf, on ripened fruit so fair, on the freedom to see, to sense, to breathe, to know, to hope, to despair. Teach my lips a blessing, a hymn of praise, as each morning and night you renew your days. Lest my day be today as the one before, lest routine set my ways. We transition now into our Mariv service, our evening service with the Shema and its blessings, using the words of the Chatzi Kaddish on page 144. And to lead us in the Kaddish, I'm going to invite our Bar Mitzvah, Bryce Dubowski, to come to the Bima.
Yitkada v'yikada shemei rabba. Amen. B'yamad yivarach hirute v'yamlich mahute. B'hayechon uv'yomechon uv'hayedecho beit Yisrael. Bagala uv'izman kari. V'yimeru amen. Yehei shmei rabba mevorach. Le'alam olam me'amaya. Yitzbarach v'yishtabach. V'yitpa'ar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar, v'yitalel, v'yitalal, Shemei Kudasha Berechu, Le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata, Tushbahata v'nemata,
Da'amiran be'alma, v'imeru, amen. Yalla lai lai lai, 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 yalla lai lai lai. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Barechu et Adonai Amvorach. Baruch Adonai Amvorach Le'olam va'ed, Le'olam va'ed. Yalla lai lai lai, 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 yalla lai lai lai. Am I awake? Am I prepared?
Please be seated as we turn to page 149. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim.
Yisrael, Amecha ahavta, Amcha ahavta. Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu lemadeta, Otanu lemadeta. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu b'shofenu, Kumenu na'asiach b'chukecha, V'nismach b'divrei Toratcha, Uv'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. Ki chem chayenu, Ve'orech yameinu, Uvahem nege yomam v'layla, Nege yomam v'layla. Ve'achavatcha al tasir, Mimenu le'olamim, Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev amo Yisrael. Ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai echad. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol meodecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha Ayom al levavecha, v'shinantam levanecha, v'dibarta bam, b'shivtecha, b'veitecha, uvlechtecha, v'aderech, uv'shochbecha, uv'kumecha, ukshartam leot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha, uktavtam al mezuzot beitecha, uvisharecha, lema'an tizkeru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai, v'tem kedoshim le'elohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, liot lachem le'elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem emet.
Page 157, we read responsively at the top of the page. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot. That there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together.
Yai lai 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 lai.
Yai lai 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 lai.
Yai lai 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 lai.
Yai lai 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 lai.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh, mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh nora. Ose Nora Ose Adonai Imloch Leolam Vaed. Yai lai 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 lai.
Yai lai lai
Yai lai 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 lai.
Yai lai lai.
Baruch atah Adonai Ga'al Yisrael. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom V'hamidenu shomreinu Lechai Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom V'hamidenu shomreinu Lechaim. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us in wisdom, compassion, and trust. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom. V'hamidenu shomreinu Lechaim. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom. V'hamidenu shomreinu Lechaim.
We turn now to page 162 for these words of Torah that remind us, as we sing them each week, that as we keep Shabbat, Shabbat will renew us and renew our souls.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
I love when we have camp families here. The ruach just goes so high. We turn now to page 164 for the Tefillah, our central prayer section of the service. We will sing the opening psalm of this section together that says, God, open up my lips so that my mouth may declare your praise. And then we continue silently from page 166 through 181, using the words on the page, the words written in front of you as a guide to your own personal prayers, but also taking time through the silence to tap into that kol d'mamah dakah, that still small voice within, that prayer that we hold in our hearts. I invite you now, as we turn to page 164, if you are able, to please rise.
Yalla lai lai lai, 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 yalla lai lai lai. Adonai sifatai tiftach, ufi yagid teilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Yalla lai lai lai, yalla lai lai lai, yalla lai lai lai, yalla lai lai lai. Ose Shalom Bimroma Ose Shalom Bimroma Hu Ya'aseh Shalom Hu Ya'aseh Shalom Hu Ya'aseh Shalom Alleluia. Say it with me if you know it. 1, 2, 3, 4. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. Oh, say Shalom. Bimroma. Oh, say Shalom. Bimroma. Hu Ya'aseh Shalom. Hu Ya'aseh Shalom. Hu Ya'aseh Shalom. Alleluia. 1, 2, 3, 4. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down.
Tomorrow morning during our Shabbat morning worship service, as I mentioned before, Bryce will stand on this bima, read from the Torah, lead us in prayer, and teach us from its sacred wisdom. And in doing so, we will call him a bar mitzvah, a son of the commandment, and the newest adult member of the Jewish people. This service, tomorrow morning, which is truly special in Bryce's life, the life of his family, and the life of our community, will be similar to the bar mitzvah services and bat mitzvah services we have here at CDT throughout the year. Unique because Bryce is unique, and special because he is special, but still a normative part of our congregational calendar. Whether boy or girl, it's not a surprise that our synagogue has young people reading from the Torah. But just 100 years ago, the very idea that a young woman could or should read aloud from the Torah in the synagogue, celebrating a bat mitzvah, was unheard of. In writing about the first bat mitzvah, that of Judith Kaplan, Sharon Ann Musher, who's professor of history at Stockton University, writes, 100 years ago, my great-aunt Judith Kaplan became the first bat mitzvah in the United States. Inspired by the suffrage movement and the experience of fathering 4 daughters, Judith's father, Rabbi Mordecai Kaplan, considered instituting a ceremony to mark a girl's maturation as a vital part of reconstructing Judaism so that it responded to and resonated with the times. Shortly after establishing his own synagogue, the Society for the Advancement of Judaism, Rabbi Kaplan sought the board's approval to initiate the new ritual and give the first honor to his eldest daughter. Now, unlike today, when preparations for a bar or bat mitzvah often take months or even years, and I know Bryce has been working for a long time, Rabbi Kaplan took his 12-and-a-half-year-old daughter into his office the Friday night beforehand and asked her to practice the blessings before and after reading Torah, as well as selecting a supplemental portion for her to read in Hebrew and English. Judith recalled him severely correcting her diction. Like most teenage girls, she was nervous. Not so much about causing discomfort to her disapproving grandmothers, but particularly about how her friends would respond. After the Torah reading concluded, she left the comfort of the women's section to chant the blessings before and after reading Torah, and then read both in Hebrew and in English the section that her father had selected for her. Afterwards, she recalled, no thunder sounded, no lightning struck. The institution of the bat mitzvah had been born without incident, and the rest of the day was spent rejoicing. But thunder really did sound that day, for that day began to pave the way for gender equality in our religious institutions. Because of her milestone achievement, women and girls began to push for more inclusion and integration in our synagogues. The first bat mitzvah celebrated in a Reform synagogue happened just a few years later at the South Shore Congregation in Chicago. By the 1950s, more than half of Reform synagogues were celebrating bat mitzvah, though did not exclusively or across the board at that time always mean that women would read directly from the Torah. Many would read a haftarah, a section from the prophets, or from a chumash, from a book. But this inclusion, this movement towards inclusion of women would keep progressing up to and through and including 1972, 50 years ago, when Rabbi Sally Priesand became the first woman ordained in an American rabbinical school at the Hebrew Union College in Cincinnati, and the first woman since Rabbi Regina Jonas, who had been ordained at the Hochschule für die Wissenschaft des Judentums in 1935 in Berlin, who was later killed in Auschwitz. Our movement especially has continued to progress with women holding positions of leadership in our synagogues, in our camps, and in our institutions. The first bat mitzvah has led to phenomenal scholarship in Jewish studies, amazing leadership by rabbis and cantors, and has paved the way for musicians such as Debbie Friedman to change the liturgical landscape with their amazing melodies. Without the audacity of Rabbi Kaplan and his brave daughter Judith, our movement, our synagogue, and the American Jewish landscape would be extremely different than it is today. So as we enter into our Torah service on page 362, we begin to mark and celebrate the 100th anniversary today, March 18th, 2022, of Judith Kaplan being called to the Torah as a bat mitzvah, and the 100th anniversary of that watershed moment, which changed Judaism forever. We turn to page 362 and rise for Seder Kriyat Torah, our service for the reading of the Torah.
In kamocha va'elohim Adonai v'yen kema'asecha malchutecha malchut kol olamim u'memshaltecha bechol dor v'dor Adonai melech Adonai malach Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed Adonai oz le'amo yitin Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom av harachamim Heitiva v'rtzonecha et Zion Himnei chomot Yerushalayim Himnei chomot Yerushalayim Ki becha levad batachnu Melech el ram v'nisadon olamim Ki mitzion teitzei Torah Ki mitzion teitzei Torah Udivar Adonai mirushalayim Baruch shenatan Torah Torah Baruch shenatan Torah Torah Le'amo Yisrael b'kedushato Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonenu Gadol Shemo Gadlul Adonai iti Uniromima Shemo Yachdav.
Celebrating the Torah and all of the women who have led us, From Miriam, the prophetess, to Judith Kaplan, to Rabbi Regina Jonas and Rabbi Sally Priesand, we march now with singing the words of Miriam's song, page 646. As we sing together, you are welcome to join us in marching with the Torah.
And the children dancing with their timbrel followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced, they danced the whole night long. And Miriam was a weaver of unique variety. The tapestry she wove was one which sang our history. With every strand and every thread she crafted her delight. A woman touched with spirit, she dances towards the light. And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced, they danced the whole night long. When Miriam stood upon the shores, gazed across the sea, the wonder of this miracle she soon came to believe. Whoever thought the sea would part with an outstretched hand, and we would pass to freedom and march to the promised land. Here's where you clap if you don't know it. And the children dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced, they danced the whole night long. And Miriam the prophet took her timbrel in her hand, and all the women followed her just as she had planned. And Miriam raised her voice in song, she sang with praise and might. We've just lived through a miracle, we're going to dance tonight. And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing the song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced, they danced the whole night long.
Please be seated. Our Torah portion for this Shabbat is Parshat Tzav. It comes to us from the book of Leviticus, and it contains a number of laws about the sacrifices that God is commanding the people to give after they have built the tabernacle at the end of the book of Exodus, and as they are about to start traveling through the wilderness. Sacrifices of thankfulness, sacrifices of peace, sacrifices of goodwill and wholeness. Ruthie Cohen tonight is going to read a few verses from the end of the Parsha, because tomorrow morning Bryce will read from the beginning. We're going to go a little bit in reverse order. But it is my privilege and my honor to call forward to bless the Torah tonight any woman in the congregation who has in the past celebrated a bat mitzvah here at Congregation Dor Tamid or anywhere else in the world. Ta'amodna kol benot bat mitzvah. Call forward all of our benot mitzvah. No, not yet. The blessing for the Torah reading can be found on page 368. Are you all ready? 1, 2, 3.
Baruch hu et Adonai hambarach.
Baruch Adonai hambarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hambarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher b'kach banu mikol ha'amim. Et natantanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
ויקח משה משמן המשחה והדם אשר על המזבח, ויז על אהרון ועל בגדיו ועל בניו ועל בגדיו בניו אותו, ויקדש את אהרון ואת בגדיו ואת בניו ואת בגדי בניו איתו. ויאמר משה אל אהרון ואל בניו, בשלו את הבשר פתח אוהל מועד, ושם תאכלו אותו, ואת הלחם אשר בסל המילואים, כאשר ציוויתי לאמור, אהרון ובניו יאכלוהו. והנותר בבשר ובלחם אש תשרפו. ומפתח אוהל מועד לא תצאו 7 ימים עד יום מלות ימי מילואיכם. 7 ימים ימלט את ידכם, כאשר עושה ביום הזה ציווה אדוני לעשות לכפר עליכם. ופתח אוהל מועד תשבו יומם ולילה 7 ימים, ושמרתם את משמרת אדוני וכל המזבח, ולא תמותו. כי כן ציוויתי ויעש אהרון ובניו את כל הדברים אשר ציווה אדוני ביד משה.
Shkach. 1, 2, 3. Baruch.
atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah temet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Misha berach avotenu v'imotenu Abraham, Yitzchak v'Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel v'Leah, hu yivarech et kol benot hamitzvah, ba'avur she'alu likvod hamakom v'likvod haTorah v'likvod haShabbat. Bizkar zeh HaKadosh Baruch Hu yashmirehen v'yatzilehen mikol tzara v'tukah mikol nega u'machala. Yishlach bracha v'hatzlacha b'kol ma'aseh yadehen im kol Yisrael v'nomar. Amen. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah, bless all of these women who have come to the Torah in honor of God, in honor of Torah, in honor of Shabbat, and in honor of this milestone occasion. May they merit from the Holy One of blessing protection, rescue from any trouble or distress, and from any illness, minor or serious. May God send blessings and success in their every endeavor, together with all Israel, as we all say, Amen. Da Rabbah, and Yashar Koach to you all. Thank you. Thank you. So awesome. Yeah. Well, I'll just, Ruthie. Stand there. Yeah. You know, when you have an idea in your head about how something's going to work or not, that was really cool. So thank you all for being here tonight. With our hearts open not only by words of Torah, but by the magnitude of this occasion, we take a moment as we think of those members of our community who are ill. Ask God for God's healing presence to be with each one of them, some who are in the hospital, some who are at home, some have diseases and illnesses from which they may never recover. But we ask God to grant God's healing blessing of body, spirit, and soul, as we think this week especially of Hugh Hadwin, Harriet Jacobs, Christy Moore, Renee Fahn, Susan Abrams, Yael Bat David Vilea, Bev Mahone, Sylvia Kirsch, Alan Friedman, Sarah Kahn, Lee Silverstein, Jill Vantine, Eleanor Goodman, Yuli Makovich, Libby Routman, Laurel Phoenix, Marjorie Whitmore, Jerry Phillips, Claire Levin, Paul Kershon, Reva Fisher, Leslie Knight, Bert Singerman, Stephen Schiff, Mateo Velasquez, Dr. David Mazel, Max Jacobs, Kathy Waldner, Richard Duspin, Christopher Denton, Jerry Gimple, and Phyllis Lapin. If you are thinking of someone who is in need of a prayer of healing, I invite you to share their name with the community as my eyes meet yours, or if you are joining us virtually, to add their name at this time to the chat. We think of all of them. We also think of victims of violence around the world. May they be blessed with health and hope and peace. We think of those who care for the sick each day. May they be blessed with strength and support, hope and love. So we ask God's healing presence to be with all those we named, all those we hold in our hearts, with all of us. So we sing these words on page 371.
Misheberach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Tisheberach imotenu mekor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
We turn now to page 370 as we prepare to lift the Torah in Hagbah. Please rise.
Bizot HaTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai biyad Moshe. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la.
Page 374, we remain standing to return the Torah to the ark. Yahalalu et Shem Adonai, ki niskav shemo levado. Let us praise the name of Adonai, for God's name alone is exalted.
Odo al eretz v'shamayim, vayarem keren li'amo, Tehillah lechol chasidav, B'nei Yisrael av kerovo. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Et chaimi lamachazikim ba, V'tom che'ar me'ushar, Derachea darchei noam, V'chol netivotea shalom. Hashivenu Adonai Elecha v'nashuva Chadesh Chadesh Yameinu Chadesh Yameinu Kekedem.
We remain standing as we turn to page 586 for Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon hakol, lateit gedula liotzer bereshit, shehu notesh shamayim b'yosed haaretz, umoshav yikaro b'shamayim mima'al, ushchinatu zo begove meromim, u'Eloheinu enor, v'anachnu koreim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, Lifnei melech malchei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu, v'nemar v'yadonai, lemelech al kol haaretz, bayom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo, Ushemo echad.
Page 595. Yesh kochavim she'oram magia arza. Rak ka'asher hem atzmam avdu ve'enam. There are stars up above, so far away. We only see their light long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us. As we live our days, these are the ways we remember. Our thoughts now turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. At this sacred moment of our Shabbat evening worship, we think longingly and lovingly of those taken from us both recently and at this season in years past. We are in a period of Shiva, the first 7 days since her funeral, of Dorothy Grabowski. We are in a period of Shloshim, the first 30 days since their funeral, of Charlene Kershaw, Arthur Meyer, and Barry Dabowski. And we mark the Artsites, the anniversary of their passing on this Shabbat, of Bessie Baum, Max P. Berman, Norman Allen Cohen, Rose Godley, Ida Kerbel, David Lehman, William Rosevier, and Barbara Richmond. If you are remembering someone on this Shabbat, I invite you to share their name with the community as my eyes meet yours, or to write their name at this time into the chat. Zikronam livracha. May all of their memories be a blessing. As we remember them, we take all of their memories into our hearts, along with the millions of our people who have no one to say Kaddish for them. So we Think of all of them. We ask that their memories be a blessing as we turn to page 598 and rise as one community to speak these words which bind together heaven and earth, the words of the mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, v'alma divrach yiruteh v'almlich malchuteh, v'chaye echon v'yom echon v'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach leolam l'amei maya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei d'kudsha b'rechu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbachata v'nechemata. Da'amiran bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. V'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. V'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn, and comfort to all the bereaved here and everywhere with the blessing of peace. So together we all say, Amen.
Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imeru amen.
Our closing song this evening is Adon Olam. Please join us on page 625.
Adon olam,
Adon Olam.
asher malach,
Shem Malach.
b'terem kol yitzini ra li'et nasa, v'chetza kol, azay melech shemoni kra Adon olam, v'yacharei kiklot hakol, liva'ado yimlok nara Adon olam, v'hu haya, v'hu hoveh, v'hu yeh b'tifara Adon olam, Adon olam,
Adon Olam.
asher malach,
Asher Malach.
b'terem kol yitzini ra li'et nasa, v'chetza kol, azay melech shemoni kra Adon olam, v'hu echad v'yein sheni, lehamshilo le'achbira Adon olam, v'li reshit, v'li tachlit, v'lo ha'oz v'ham mishra Adon olam, Adon olam,
Adon Olam.
asher malach,
Asher Malach.
b'terem kol yitzini ra li'et nasa, v'chetza kol, azay melech shemoni kra Adon olam, v'hu eli v'chai goali, v'tzorchef li b'yitzara Adon olam, v'hu nisi umanos li, menat kosi p'yom ekra Adon olam, Adon olam, asher malach, b'terem kol yitzini ra li'et nasa, v'chetza kol, azay melech shemoni kra Adon olam, Biado avki ruchi, b'yedi sham b'yaira Adon olam, v'im ruchi giviati, Adonai li v'lo ira Adon olam, Adon olam, asher malach, b'terem kol yitzini ra li'et nasa, v'chetza kol, Adonai li v'lo ira Adon olam.
Please be seated. Good Shabbos, everyone.
Good job.
Just a few brief announcements before we conclude our service. This Saturday morning, tomorrow morning, we will join back together at 10:30 a.m. for our Shabbat morning worship service, where, as I've mentioned already, we will celebrate the bar mitzvah of Bryce Dabowski, and he will lead us in prayer and read from the Torah and then teach us from its wisdom and its sacred words. And so we hope you will all join us tomorrow morning as we celebrate with Bryce and his family and so many of you who are already here tonight, and we welcome you as well. On Sunday morning, there is no religious school. However, there is our annual Purim Carnival this week. So dress in costume and come for a Purim spiel put on by our 8th and 9th graders. Games, activities, fun, and a Kona ice truck. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We will see you this Sunday for our Purim Carnival and a special Purim parade, costume parade, to help benefit the Hunger Walk. This coming Wednesday, Torah study will be at 11 o'clock, and C. Diddy will have their pizza in the youth lounge at on Wednesday evening. Knitting and Crochet meets on Thursday at 1 p.m. And next Friday night, we have our annual first, second, and third grade Shabbat dinner, followed by services at 7:30. And then next Saturday at 9 a.m. is our next in our Lunar Shabbat series, followed at 10:30 by our worship service, and where we will celebrate the Bar Mitzvah of Jonah Mann. So we hope to see you all throughout this week. If you haven't yet signed up for Caribbean Night in April, make sure to do so. There's a lot more coming up. Watch for information in the coming days about Pesach, because now that we've gotten through Purim, Passover is just around the corner. Also, some of the grocery stores already have their stuff, so just keep an eye out. And if you find good stuff, let me know. Two more things. Because it is the third Friday of the month, it is our anniversary Shabbat. So if you have a March anniversary, I'm going to invite you to please rise. So as I come around to the, okay, we have a couple. I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself and your significant other, even if they're not with us, and tell us how many years you've been married. So we'll start in the front. Mazel tov.
Mazel tov.
My name's Michael Leader. I've been married to my wife Lara Leader of 17 years.
Mazel tov.
Seven tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, seven tov, seven tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, seven tov, seven tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, seven tov, yelanu.
And finally, as we do each week, we are thanking members of our community for all they do to help support CDT this week. A special thank you to Mo and Zainab, our building staff, for all they do behind the scenes. If you see them, please make sure to thank them. They are here tonight. Following the service, you are all cordially invited to join us for an Oneg Shabbat, in honor of Shabbat, in honor of the 100th anniversary of Bat Mitzvah, and in honor of Bryce's Bar Mitzvah. And there is food and nash and stuff to drink in the social hall, but also on the front patio, correct, Michelle? Yes, on the front patio, so a special treat outside as well. If you are getting food inside, I've been asked to let you know, please let the servers help you so we can keep everybody safe, as safe as possible. But before we can go to our Oneg Shabbat, we need to say Kiddush and a Motzi and a closing benediction. So I'm going to ask that everyone turn to page 123. Bryce, I'm going to ask you to come to the Bima to help lead Kiddush. And I'm going to ask the whole congregation to please rise.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagahafed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho v'yavahu v'ratzon nidchilanu zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila l'mikra'e kodesh zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim Kivanu vakarta, veotanu kidashta, mikol hamim, v'shabbat kodshecha, be'ava u'v'ratzon hinchalatanu, Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh ha-Shabbat.
Chaim. Now, Bryce, I'm going to ask you, don't go anywhere, to uncover our challah. You can lift it up. I'll take that stuff from you. As we sing together.
Hamotzi lechem min haaretz, we give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
We ask for God's blessing. And on this Shabbat, the Shabbat where we...
Wait, Bryce.
On this Shabbat where we have celebrated together, where we have marked the 100th anniversary of women being called to the Torah, we conclude with words that thank God for allowing each of us to reach this occasion. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'echianu, v'hiyamanu, v'higianu lazman hazeh. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, whose presence fills creation. You've gifted us with life, sustained us, and enabled all of us to reach this moment. Amen. Shabbat Shalom.
When I swear the challah's not cooked all the way through. Yeah.